But so yeah, I'm studying Holocaust and genocide in particular, and the thing that I think is important about hearing accounts from survivors directly is that you have an experience that no amount of literature will be able to cover. I mean, you can read.
That's what I tell the children. You heard that, right?
Right. You can read as much as you like, but that experience is what's important, and that's why I appreciate your time for giving me the opportunity to ask you these questions. Is there, in your experience, has there been just like a general misrepresentation of the experience from other people who haven't been there?
Well, you see, I only spent 2 days in those cattle cars, and I heard people that spend there much longer. And sometimes you wonder if they're exaggerating, but then I've heard it from other people the same thing. And all the situations were different, you know. Maybe they were on a railroad track and there were no locomotives available.
Right.
So they had to spend there a couple of days. I know a man in Holland that tells me a story, and every year, last year is the first time he didn't tell me the story, about how in late 44 or early 45, when the Germans knew they were losing, and the Americans had liberated the southern part of Holland, but not the northern part. Canadians did that later on. And he said his friend went out of the house, and the next thing he knew, he was picked up, and they was going to get some water. And he didn't have a coat with him. So this guy said, I want them to bring him a coat. And they grabbed him too. It was 50,000 people rounded up, and he wound up in boats. In Amsterdam, we have a lot of water, and if the boats in which they put coal, well, they were in boats like that, and he managed from a Red Cross lady that brought food to get an armband, took it on, and left. But then they found out, and they went after him. He went into a little creek with a straw to keep breathing. He tells me that story, you know, and sometimes you wonder, why would he want to lie about it? You know what I mean?
Right. Yeah, it's
amazing stories that you hear from so many different people.
Absolutely, and I think it's important, and the one thing that I'm trying to do is to shed light on all of the stories. Yesterday I interviewed someone, and I think his experience was different because he never went into camps at all. So he spent his time moving from house to house in outhouses, and he had horrible experiences as well, yet and still he's a survivor from it because they could have detained him, they could have taken him, and he lost family, obviously.
Right.
So it's just, I'm trying to get as much of the spectrum as possible. And here's a follow-up question. My particular interest in study is going to be evil. And I have a question that best to ask you. Can an individual who hasn't experienced real evil, I'm not talking about, a fight or anything, I mean evil on the scale that you've experienced, truly have an understanding of evil without experiencing it? And if no, why? Why can't?
No, it's...
And I'm sorry.
No, that's okay. I tell the students, imagine 10 times worse than what I'm telling you. And they still don't comprehend the suffering of people. You just can't explain it. You just can't explain it. I've been interviewed several times. You live in St. Petersburg?
Tampa.
Tampa.
Right across the street from
Yeah. Did you get the St. Pete Time Sunday?
Yeah. No, I haven't looked at it.
Oh, you should make sure you get a copy of it and get the section Parade.
Okay.
You know the insert Parade? It has the 10 worst dictators on the front page. Unbelievable if you read those little stories. One guy, his servants, they cannot quit. They quit, they get killed. I mean, and everyone different. And one guy put $750 million in American banks, and people working there for $1 a day. If you read those 10 stories, it is unbelievable. But again, I can relate to it because of what I've been through, but other people can't. It's hard to describe our everyday living. It's hard to describe. They interviewed me and I said, I was what the hell they call it then? Not a robot.
A machine or?
I just did as they told me.
Right, right.
I forgot the name of what I told them. It'll come to my mind. You cannot describe. And I try not to cry in front of the class, you know.
Right, right.
When I went to the bathroom to get a tissue, I did have a running nose, but I do have always hangers with me. But it's
tough.
It's unbelievable the suffering those people did. It's unbelievable.